All right. So obviously, with New Year's coming around the corner, of course, everyone is super excited for Roppy Red Hood coming out. However, another aspect that Shift Up went ahead and did was that they introduced the, combined together an overspec ordinary recruit banner as well as the step up recruit banner. We can see here, at the moment I have 100. I can essentially go ahead and pick which Nikke I would want to get. Personally, I'm not going to use this at the given moment because of the fact that I don't really want all or any of those three. I'm sure I can switch it up, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is we're going to be talking about the new Pilgrim slash overspec Nikkes. So this is something that has never been done before, obviously, and so the fact that they have put this into the game is incredible. I have already done a temple. Unfortunately, I did not get any of these units. I did actually get Mary, so I got a new Nikke, and that's always an absolute win, especially when you use ordinary recruit tickets. But what we're going to be talking about is the selection out of all of these Nikkes. I want to first preface this is that always select characters you do not own. So as you can see right here, out of all the current Pilgrims, I don't own Haran. So I would want to get her just to have her. She's not that great, but that's not necessarily the point. The point is just to have her so I can say I have every single Pilgrim in the game. But, I'm just going to have to hold out and wait for that when that does eventually happen. But now, let's go ahead and get to the crux of the main point, and that being which Pilgrims should you be selecting. Obviously, we're not talking about overspec characters because Roppy is the first overspec character, and she is not going to be in here for a little bit of time. So, in terms of like the top, let's say 5, right? Because there's 5 spots. Who should you be selecting? Well, number 1, honestly, has to be Red Hood. And that she is absolutely insane with the amount of damage she does. Now, I can select her to try to get her towards max limit break, but again, I'm just going to hold off because I want to get characters I also don't have their lobby screens for. That's another thing, depending on how you want to play the game or how you want to log in. Me personally, I like having characters login lobbies. It just looks better and more appealing to the eye, so I really hope I get Cinderella. Next up, after Red Hood, I am actually going to be going to Scarlet. Now, being one of the first Pilgrims in the game along with Modernia, she's a little older, right? But the amount of damage she's able to put out is still on par with a lot of other characters, and it's just massive AoE blade slash that she does with her burst skill. It does a stupid amount of damage. So Scarlet is another option I do recommend. Next up is going to be Dorothy. Let's go ahead and actually clear all these just to show you. So first Red Hood, then Scarlet. Next is going to be Dorothy. Given the fact how much of a supporter that she is, being able to cause an enemy to take increased damage and then doing like spread out damage at the end of, I believe it's just like a couple seconds, I want to say. Let's go ahead and go over here. It is, where is it? Yeah, distributed damage once the duration ends. So able to distribute all the damage that specific enemy has taken is incredible, right? So I definitely do recommend Dorothy for those who don't have her. Next up is going to be Cinderella, and Cinderella falls along the same lines as these two, not necessarily doing the same thing. However, given the fact that Cinderella is able to output a boatload of damage is just incredible. Obviously, being the newest Pilgrim in this selection, along with Grave, but given the fact that Cinderella was the main headliner for second anniversary, also adds a little bit of weight to her, given the fact that, being the main character for an anniversary, they want to make sure they, up her stats, up her abilities just a tiny bit to try to put her in an upper echelon of other characters, and I honestly do think that they did succeed in that. Next up is actually really difficult because you can have either a Black Shadow Scarlet, although I do have to say that she is having a rerun come out, and I'm not recommending people pull for that. I prefer people to get the new Roppy. But, you know, whatever, do what you want to do. Black Shadow Scarlet is very good. She follows along the same lines of the previous Scarlet, however, being, you know, slightly different. Main premise being a main damage dealing character. That's really all there is to her. Next up is going to be Cinderella. Now, Cinderella, I do have to say, she's very, very good. Do not get me wrong. She is absolutely incredible. Being able to do quite a lot, right? And the main crux of her whole thing is being able to, you know, increase defense and just creating a shield, so survivability. She's able to provide a lot. I do have to say, though, she kind of loses value if you do not have Naga. Naga and Crown are like a beautiful 1-2 punch when it comes to sustainability and survivability. I do have to say that. So if you do not have Naga, I think Crown kind of falls a little bit in terms of like power rankings, but you know, she's still very good on her own. And then finally, the character I honestly do recommend is going to be Modernia. Given the fact that, you know, once you activate her burst, she's essentially like, you look at a target and they're dead. Her burst is one of the, if not the best burst in the game, given the fact that she does like a massive, like, shooting all the bullets. You know, she goes American gunnery and just like, it becomes a like one woman army in herself. So yeah, Modernia is very, very strong activating her burst. Also, given the fact that with her continuous attacks, we go ahead and check that out. With her continuous attacks is incredible because of the fact that she increases her own hit status and attack for a couple seconds. And given the fact that she is a machine gun, you know, you are going to be hitting those attacks very frequently and boosting her attack very often. This would be the 5 I would recommend if you, remember, A, don't own them, or B, are like, who do I really want to put stuff into? It would be this 5. Keep in mind, Crown, if you have Naga, I would say Naga over Modernia, but if you do not have Naga, then I would say Modernia. But that's going to be all for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all within the next video.